Assalamualaikum and good day to our lecturer. My name is NURSHAZWANI and there are 6 members in my group including me. Today I will present about the introduction of layoff among workers during COVID-19. As we all know, the COVID-19 shadow is all around us. Up until the end of January 2021, the World Health Organization received report of approximately 99 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 worldwide, including over 2 million fatalities. There is no doubt that human beings are experiencing the most acute public health catastrophe. According to the World Travel and Tourism Council, COVID-19 poses a serious danger up to 50 million jobs in the hospitality sector globally. The COVID-19 induced layoff, also known as COVID layoff, has developed into a significant socio-economic issues that affect both employee well-being and organizational viability. This study generally complies with the statement that immediate action is needed to reduce the potential devastating impact of COVID-19. Action that can be backed by the behavioral and social sciences. This study first experimentally investigated how COVID layoff stress affect employees' performance in their primary roles and in other areas. This study is one of the first to examine how COVID layoff affect employees' performance in their role and outside of them in the context of COVID-19. This is crucial for businesses in the hospitality industry, which have been severely impacted by COVID-19 and many of which have implemented the downsizing approach. Second, this study explained the process underlying COVID layoff and job performance using COR theory. COVID layoff is the degree to which survivors notice that their social contact, co-workers, colleagues and acquaintances have lost their job as a result of COVID-19. Although they personally have survived this catastrophe, COVID-19 has caused employees to see an unpredictable downsizing in which their key contacts have lost their employment.
Hi, I'm Hanis and I will present factors that leads to the layoff among workers during COVID-19. First issue is mental health. COVID-19 causes a lot of stress for workers who may have to deal with things like an increase in workload or delays in completing tasks if they have the infection. Not just that, work during COVID, the challenge is greater than usual and gives the employees burnout and anxiety because more restrictions are coming out from the government and company. The impact from that, employees decide to just lay off their work from their mental health getting worse, which might lead to death. The second issue is getting fired. The Ministry of Human Resources 2020 says that company must pay workers salary and fixed allowance even if a firm closes due to a Malaysian Movement Restriction Order (MCO). Many firms have withheld pay due to the COVID-19 pandemic. COVID-19 has impacted companies so much. Business and their bosses must lay off people when the situation becomes untenable. The employer reduced staff to avoid bankruptcy. It is also the reason why layoff among workers happens. Due to that, may save the company but raises Malaysian unemployment rate. The last issue, many jobs are unsuitable for home-based work. Based on data by Daniel Neyman Garrett Sanchez 2020, ONET and the Department of Statistics Malaysia, 64.5% of Malaysian occupations are not appropriate for home-based work and 50.9% require significant physical closeness, rendering them most vulnerable to COVID-19. 2/3 of tasks are offline and over half need in-person interaction. Each state has a varied number of remote inaccessible jobs. Despite the government's work-from-home rule, some employees feel depressed and distracted. Staff feel disoriented without a monitor. Because of that, many leave for better jobs.
My name is NURUL BATRISYA binti MOHAMMAD NURUREEZAM and I will continue present about the effects from the issues. Effects towards individual. COVID-19 has altered our everyday routines. Millions lost jobs. Some workers work from home while others still go to work. Many employees now have stricter job standards. Although every situation is different, some of these changes may be causing stress symptoms. Outbreaks may affect mental health and psychosocial difficulties like traumatic incidents. People may feel more anxious, angry, and uncomfortable. Untreated stress may enhance alcohol use, hazardous behavior, and chronic physical and mental health disorders. Worker health and safety. Dangers vary based on personal characteristics and working environment. Next, effects towards organization. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, several companies have had to lay off workers. If an organization doesn't cut staff, it will strain its budget. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, companies must pay their contracted salaries. The company's inability to lay off people causes substantial losses since it must pay workers' salary while minimizing expenses to stay in business. Layoffs may help companies stay in business and avoid bankruptcy. Last but not least, effects towards community. When people cease working during the COVID-19 pandemic, it affects the community. Most firms will fire staff, resulting in unemployment. From 2019 to 2020, Malaysia's unemployment rate climbed 1.24%. This enormous growth worries certain parties and concerns the community. This higher unemployment rate is bad and the government has to take more effective action to fix it. In theft and small robbery instances, the community will also be affected. Desperate people with no other options who are motivated to commit such crimes, and the government closed various job sectors as well.
Next, my name is Sofea Natasha and I'll be explaining the analysis of the solution. First of all, existing solution. Employees must arm themselves with knowledge of their legal rights today more than ever to protect themselves from being fired unfairly. In Malaysia, the Employment Act 1955 and the Industrial Relations Act of 1967 regulates employer-employee relations. Section 12 of the Employment Act of 1955 mandates that a worker receive adequate notice when they are fired. This means that if an employer wants to end a contract of employment, they must inform the employee in writing of their desire to do so and the reasons for doing so. Furthermore, all employees are protected from wrongful termination in Malaysia. Employers are responsible for ensuring that the employee is let go in a fair and legal manner. A due inquiry or domestic inquiry is one of the processes that must be carried out in accordance with Section 14(1)(a) of the Employment Act of 1955 before a dismissal for misconduct may be justified. Now, let's move to the new solutions. First and foremost, consider executive compensation adjustments. Corresponding to this, companies may wish to think about freezing all cash and equity bonus payments to executive or cutting their wages by 15 to 25%. Besides that, minimize overhead costs. Make sure you are always looking for methods to cut back on overhead. Don't wait until it's too late and you have to choose between your industrious, committed staff and your pricey marketing budget, the effects of which you haven't seen yet. Now, what is the pros and cons of both existing and new solutions? There are many of them, but let's just keep it short, shall we? Firstly, advantages of existing solutions. Employees who are protected from wrongful termination can feel more secure in their jobs. Next, employees are given an opportunity to improve their performance and may feel that they are being treated moderately. On the other hand, the disadvantages of the existing solutions. Employees may have less flexibility to make staffing changes if they are restricted from terminating employees without just cause. Next, it may lead to reduced efficiency and productivity in the short term. Now, let's get into the advantages of new solutions. By adjusting compensation instead, an organization can preserve its workforce and maintain its collective knowledge and expertise. Next, reducing overhead costs can help an organization improve its financial performance by lowering its expenses and increase its profitability. Last but not least, the disadvantages of new solutions. Adjusting compensation can lead to a reduction in income for affected employees. This can be a significant hardship for workers who may already be struggling financially. Next, reducing overhead costs may lead to a decrease in customer satisfaction, as customers may feel that they are not receiving the same level of service or support as before. And that's all from me. Let's move on to the next person.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad ZAQWAN bin Muhammad ZAKARIA, and I will continue to talk about the recommendations as well as the justifications for those recommendations. Firstly, we can reduce the employee hours, for example, 6 from 8 hours in a day, or a shorter work week from 5 to 4 days in a week. With this, one can reduce payroll while retaining talent. This means that employees who work fewer hours or days can maintain their pay rates while saving money and jobs in the organization. Besides that, the management can also impose mandatory unpaid leaves, or in other terms, furloughs. Furloughs involve putting employees on definite or indefinite unpaid leave with the expectation that they will return to work at some point. If the furlough period is indefinite, employees should appropriately communicate with their employees on a regular basis. This can increase the chance that employees may be volunteer to be furloughed if they are assured that the job will be waiting for them when they return, especially with the promise that healthcare insurance and benefits are given to them. Furthermore, extra costs can be minimized. This can be done by removing any and all costs that are deemed unnecessary, as well as certain liabilities that do not contribute directly to the well-being of the business. By lowering these costs, business owners can direct more of their budget to employee retention. This can be easily accomplished by refocusing marketing efforts to prioritize low-cost digital alternatives, switching utility service providers, and suspending any non-essential promotions and bonuses. Lastly, employers can try to expand their streams of revenue by considering new ways to boost income. For example, if the business is a restaurant, they can offer curbside pickup, delivery, or take-home meal packages featuring their best products. Similarly, for product and service-based businesses, they can develop short-term promotional campaigns that directly respond to customer needs or add on gift cards to lock in future sales. Certain items that meet basic needs can also be added on, such as branded hand sanitizers or any other essential items that are necessary during the COVID-19 pandemic period. That is all for me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Muhammad FADZLY YAZID. For conclusion, to sum up everything that has been stated so far, laying off workers during the COVID-19 outbreak has both positive and negative effects for each party. There are a few businesses that are forced to do so for the reason that the business can continue to run. The workers who are victims or those who are involved in this issue need to take notice and other initiative so that they are not unemployed for too long, which can have bad effects on themselves and the people around them. The country also cannot bear a high unemployment rate, and those like the government or firms should immediately open job opportunities for the unemployed. In addition to being able to reduce the unemployment rate, it can also restore economic activity as well as restore the level of national economic growth that fell during the COVID-19 outbreak. Every company needs employees to run their business. Finally, with the increase in job opportunities throughout the country, it will be able to reflect the country's economic situation, which is expected to improve in the coming years. Thank you.